Hello adventurers and welcome back to my channel. Today we are at Tonka State Park here in Missouri and we are about to have an epic adventure. But first, let's start off at the visitor center. Did you know that Tonka State Park boasts one of Missouri's largest springs? And the spring is recharged by rainwater traveling underground, so the spring's temperature remains nearly 56 degrees year-round. And here, I'm standing on something kind of interesting, but why does it look different than everything else? That's because it is sandstone, and it was once an ancient seashore. Over eons of time, the sand was cemented together into sandstone and formed tiny layers of sea creatures called dolomite in between the layers. Now, after coming out of the visitor center and chatting it up a little bit, I have this state park map, and I'm really excited about this because Tonka State Park offers a variety of different things, from historic structures and interpretive shelters to kayaking. They have a natural bridge, an overlook. They also have other places that you can recreate, and I'm really loving that this is accessible to us. Now, there are two places that I am the most interested in going today. This is the Castle Trail. The castle is the one thing that I have seen time and time again in photos that just looks so spectacular. And the nice thing about picking up one of these in the visitor center is you can cross-reference the color, which is yellow, and see that this is an easy trail that needs very little experience to be able to go on, and also that this one is actually ADA friendly. Now, this trail is rated easy and is said to take only about 10 minutes. So I think that this is one that definitely explains the park to us in a really interesting way. But I do encourage you to come out and try out some of the other trails whenever you're here. Today, this is just the focus of my particular adventures. Did you know the Tonka area was one of the first sites ever considered for preservation as a Missouri state park in the early 1900s? The effort to make it a state park was finally successful all the way back in 1978. But before becoming a state park, way back in 1903, Robert M. Snyder, a wealthy Kansas City businessman, visited the area and was so impressed that he began purchasing the land to build his own private retreat. He envisioned a European-style castle with 60 rooms and a center atrium, rising 3.5 stories into a skylight. He also planned a water tower, greenhouses, and stables. The materials were extracted from the area with sandstone quarried nearby and transported by mule-drawn wagons and miniature railroads. The construction began in 1905 but was halted only a year later with the death of Snyder in one of the state's first automobile accidents. Snyder's sons finished the structure in 1922. Although not quite as elaborately as originally planned. The castle originally overlooked a small spring-fed lake, and in the 1920s, Snyders fought to stop the construction of the Bagnell Dam, but they failed. The resulting Lake of the Ozarks divided the estate and consumed the small lake. Eventually, the property was leased for use as a hotel, but in 1942, sparks from the chimney ignited the roof and set fire to the gutted castle. The carriage house burned the same day, and in 1976, the water tower was burned by vandals. Today, only the ruins remain. Tonka State Park is Missouri's premier showcase of karst geology, and is a unique site to say the least. The quality and number of remarkable geological features are apparent within the small hiking trails available to all of those who come to visit. It is easy to see why Tonka State Park is a karst showcase, with a natural bridge that is 70 feet wide and spans 60 feet and reaches more than 100 feet into the air. Beyond the natural bridge is the Coliseum, which is a theater-like sinkhole that was formed by the collapse of a giant cavern. There is no wrong way to see Tonka, whether it is for a day trip with family to take one of the interpretive trails, or to visit the castle itself, or to do one of the deeper trails that go through the woods and line the rocky pathways. This is a beautiful park, and one that everyone should visit here in Missouri. The nice thing about this park is there's a lot of trails that are shorter trails, and a lot of them do have accessibility, so that's kind of cool. This is a boardwalk for I think the first 1/10 of a mile, and then after that it's not accessible. But you can come out and see the views, but also get some brain wrinkles. So we stop off here at the trailhead and they talk about how the water is sculpting the land. Now this trail is marked on the map with a red blaze, and you can see that this is called the Dell Rim Trail. We learned a little bit more about karst structure whenever we were at the visitor center, and this is why a karst structure works so well in this area, because the land was actually sculpted by the water. The cutaway shows how the ground starts out with the water dissolving into large cave areas beneath the bedrock millions of years ago, and then it moves into this that says after the regional uplift, lowering the water table, the erosion of the land and surface started to cause the cave roof to collapse and create lots of sinkholes and islands, as well as the natural bridge here. But then we get over here to the chasm in which we are now standing, and it is surrounded by natural features as a result of that large-scale crash. In fact, as you come through this area, you'll see as you start to climb all of these really interesting rocky surfaces off to the sides of the roadways, and that is part of this right here. So because so many people come up to see the castle, I love that they put this right here by it, because in this direction we can see it a little bit better, and in doing so we're going to be able to see how that geology really factors in and creates the space that we're exploring. Nature is so cool. Speaking of nature, all of these critters and some of these plants can also be found here though as a result of this geology. So really cool to see what's kind of available and what might be out here, and also what we should be keeping our eyes open for, like this water snake. Ugh. Whew, I made it back to my van, and I will definitely be back to this state park. This is just a very brief overview of some of the things that they have to offer. Now, with a couple of the trails that they're currently working on, I want to come back to see those, and I want to see the park in bloom. So I'll come during a different season, like later spring, maybe summer, and maybe when it's not raining. Today it started raining as I was on the little boardwalk trail over here. It was gorgeous. I made it up to the water tower. It is so nice, and I definitely recommend coming here. This has been fabulous, just learning these brain wrinkles about this park and why it became a state park, but also the legacy of the family who once had this space. Now, looking from the views, you can see so many amazing things, and after you get over to the castle, there's a couple extra trails that you can also take on. Just make sure that you strap on some good boots, because they're a little bit rocky and rough, and if it's been raining, it's a little bit slippery over there. Overall though, this has been a great day here at Tonka. I appreciate you guys coming along with me. Remember, we're not here for a long time, but we are here for a good time. Today has definitely been that. Till next time, guys. Bye.